All right, so if you want to become smarter, if you want to increase your brain power or make your brain grow, and in whatever way you want to put it, what you have to do is basically challenge your brain in ways that it requires a lot of effort for you to accomplish certain tasks. Like, for example, if you are learning the piano and you're doing the same piece every single time, you're doing the same exact passage or the same practice, you're not going to become smarter by doing that. You have to do something that is difficult to you. You have to do something that you haven't done before, that you cannot do yet, right? If you're trying to skate, for example, if you already know how to do skating and you're doing the same tricks and you're doing the same stuff in the same area, you're not going to become smarter by doing that. But if you start doing things that you cannot do, or new tricks or things like that, or whatever else, then you will become smarter, right? Because I don't really know that much about the science behind it, but I've seen a video through. So this is the way to, like, the most summarized way to put it is literally just do things that require a lot of concentration to do and that are very hard to do. And it cannot be just anything that is hard to do, it has to be something that specifically stimulates your brain a lot, something that is difficult because you're not as talented, something that requires you to your brain to basically become more capable. That is the way that I would put it. Something that requires your brain to be more capable. So, for example, learning a new skill, it requires your brain to be more capable because after you learn a skill, you're literally a more capable person, right? So, yeah, like for example, if you don't know how to solve a Rubik's cube and you're trying and you see a tutorial or something, you become more capable after you end up like doing that, right? Because you now have a new skill. That is literally how your brain grows. That's it. Because that is how you make new connections in your brain. Because if you keep on doing the same thing, which is not bad, you will be basically rewriting or reprocessing the same connections that already do exist. For example, for your whole life you've walked. So the connections in your brain that make you walk, you already have in pretty like you have a lot of strength in those connections because it's there. You do it every single day, right? Every single day you train those connections, and it's not in a type of training where it gets better. The thing is, you're doing the exact same things. So there's nothing's going to change. It only changes if you are doing something and getting better at it. It's not like you're getting better at walking every single day. Now, if you're fucking, I don't know, like using skates or something, or learning how to use a skateboard, right? Then that is something you don't know how to do. That is something more difficult. And then your brain has to start, making new connections or becoming more aware, more capable and shit. So that's really it. That's the best way to put it. And I'm not a figure of authority on this. I'm not a genius at all. Some people in my life have said that I'm smart. Like, yes, when they see me talking or something, like a lot of people have said that I'm smart, just like a lot of people have said that I'm handsome. Whatever. But that's what I've seen. And yeah, you got to try it out because you only got one life. You're only gonna get older. This is the youngest you. This is the youngest you will ever be, and the oldest you've and the oldest you've been. So take advantage of the time you have. Take advantage of the time you have because it's gonna pass by anyway. So invest it into something, dude. Something that will get you somewhere. Like for example, look, I could right now be doing my business stuff. You see this production, my guy. That's what I should be doing. But look, I'm making a video. That's basically be good for my YouTube channel. But this is the lowest effort that I'm doing. So and that has nothing to do with anything. So that would really just be a part of a life update. But this video is really just about how to get smarter. And I want you to know that being smart and having a lot of knowledge are not the same thing. It is not the same thing at all. Having a lot of knowledge is literally just that. It's having information and holding it in. Being intelligent is knowing how to use that information, and being smart is the ability to use whatever information that is given to you. So if you're smart and you read a book, you will understand it much better than a person who is just seeking to memorize a few dots. You'll be able to connect them, right? But that is just one of the many branches of intelligence. So that's it. It's not the same thing because acquiring knowledge is literally just getting information and memorizing it. And that is not bad. That is a good thing. That is something that you need to do. But the only thing that will increase, the only thing that will get better is your knowledge. So, in some cases, if you want to become an expert in something, you will want to increase your intelligence. And that is something that is completely possible. Especially if you're not doing things that damage your brain, like sleeping late, watching porn, and eating junk food, all the things that are really just unhealthy. So, making sure you have a good diet and that you have good sleep and you're not doing harmful activities, and also that you're young, so that matters. You will absolutely be able to become like much smarter, especially if you have the resources to do it. And if you have a computer or a phone, then absolutely you can become like a lot smarter. You can right now just start studying and shit, and you will get more knowledge. And because you will make new connections on the new things that you're learning, about the new things that you're learning about how the world could work, like for example, chemistry. That's literally how the universe works, right? Quantum physics and shit, or electricity or whatever. Like you're learning more about how the world works, and you're making more connections because you didn't know about those functions earlier, and you have to include those systems in your head. So there are many ways in which when you study, you also gain intelligence, not just knowledge. Um, so yeah, uh, do with that information what you will. You got this.